So what if a musician like me posted every day on TikTok? Would all of my tracks on Spotify hit 1 million plays? Would I become the next viral YouTube drummer? In my 30-day challenge, I grew up to 5,000 followers, got almost 90,000 likes on all the content that I posted, and got almost 500,000 views on one of my best TikToks. So here's how I did it.
I am in the corner of a New York subway station. People see it, but don't stop me. It looks like constipation, but
So before I jump into all of that, let me give you some backstory. Prior to TikTok, I traditionally posted a lot of YouTube covers and a lot of full song covers on YouTube. And my Instagram before that was traditionally high definition content of the concerts that I performed. And prior to the world shutting down, I was focused on being a freelance content creator for brands and bands all across the music industry. So I never really took TikTok seriously. So my biggest hurdle in this challenge was achieving consistency. That 30-day number was very difficult to wrap my head around when I started. Do I have to cover 30 songs? Do I have to create 30 pieces of drum content? Do I have to record myself 30 times? Those were all the questions that I had in my head that really stuck out. Although I had a lot of help in this process and I had a lot of experience, it was still a daunting thing to wrap my head around. Especially for me before that, the traditional way of putting media online was once a week. And I still didn't even really do that well. I'm gonna try to upload something every week. So how did I achieve this? Coming out of this challenge, I learned many ways to better create content quicker and more efficiently for the specific platform. So prior to the rise of TikTok, the biggest way that social media content for music popped off was traditionally high production value, great visual appeal, impressive talent, and a good, polished, solid mix. Going into this, I learned that that type of content was not the content that was standing out on TikTok. I spent a lot of time looking through the platform and I realized that I need to reprogram myself. I would need to go against my own personal conditioning if I really want to succeed at this challenge. And to tell you the truth, I kind of fell into this challenge. I made a couple TikToks, I got inspired, and the ball kept rolling, and then I eventually posted 30 days straight. I discovered the workflow and groove that I needed to hit that 30-day number, and I posted a little bit more after that. So here was my formula. Being that my favorite instrument is drums, I was gonna keep my content focused around that. And a lot of advantages came along with this specific instrument. I discovered that I could play my music alongside a lot of people who already had posted content. I could cover other people's songs that they were posting that went viral and had trends. And I could offer people to play alongside me because drums is a very blank slate instrument that you can create music on top of. And here's what happened. I learned that TikTok growth was very sporadic. Some days I would nail it and I would consistently make videos that hit over 1,000 views. Others would be very dead in the water and hit only a couple hundred. I discovered that the content that I needed to make didn't need to be just about me. I also discovered early on that TikTok was a lottery, that sometimes the content that I would post would go off just because, and other times I'd post similar types of content with the similar captions, similar hashtags, similar feel, and even similar vibe. And they would just be dead in the water. And knowing that I was just going to post another video the day after, I grew less emotionally attached to each piece of content that I created. I know that's bad as an artist, but I think it's important to understand that content is content to promote yourself, and art and your passion project and what you want to showcase as a true representation of yourself are separate. These two things are different tools, and you want to use the content to promote yourself, to get enough people to buy into you and understand who you are, to like your actual passions. I also realized that on this platform, community is everything. This app really encourages you to collaborate and duet with other people and combine your creativity, as well as build a community.
we've been trying to reach you up here cause instead of one.
I personally don't think I'm a big part of the TikTok community at this point, especially for music, but I definitely felt like I met a lot of people along the way that I developed solid relationships with. Shout out to Alex Cade, shout out to Scro Baby, shout out to the Brett Crow Show. These are a few solid, high-performing individuals on the platform that actually took the time to notice that I was participating with them in their content. And a lot of creators are deeply encouraged by doing this. So duetting and engaging with the community that is duetting you and working with you is a huge part of TikTok. One of the other takeaways that I had in this challenge was, what type of content would I like to watch when taking a shit? I know a lot of people perceive content creation as a huge standard with a really high bar that really needs to represent you in your best light. And to be honest, I find myself using my phone way more when I'm on the bathroom, when I'm in the toilet, or I'm waiting for the shower to heat up or cool down, depending on what time of day it is. And to be honest with you, I feel like a lot of people are passing their time the same way when using their phone. They're trying to get a quick fix, they're trying to entertain themselves, or they're trying to pass a small amount of time but just get that little dopamine hit. I opted for shorter content, quicker bars, high impact catchy moments of songs, or things that were just instantly funny. And segueing into my most popular video, a video about taking a shit, going viral doesn't have a lot of staying power on the platform. You need to find that formula that works for you, that you're okay with, and you need to recreate that moment without staying in that box. And what I mean by that, and I've been saying this a lot lately, is people remember how they feel when they watch your content, not necessarily what you did. And I think the biggest thing for me in this challenge is me understanding, like, how can I make people feel a certain way in 30 seconds to a minute, or maybe even 15 seconds. One, do I want people to think, oh, cool, and be amazed or in awe? Two, do I want to be relatable or funny? Or three, do I want people to empathize with me? I feel like content in that of itself bottles down to those three factors. Funny and humorous content work for me. As you can tell, or if you know me in person, I'm pretty immature, I'm relaxed, but I get serious at times. I enjoy silly, quirky humor and the occasional potty joke. So popping off on this type of content really served well for my personality. And as a word to the wise, I'm okay with posting anything and everything within my moral boundaries to make content. I think it's fun and I think it's relatable. But if you're a type of person who really wants yourself to be perceived a certain way, then don't post anything you're willing to get pigeonholed into. One thing that I realized with my biggest viral video is that a lot of younger people were following me because of the nature of the content. That means I have a much younger audience looking for that type of shitposty meme culture content. And if that's not something you're into, then you're gonna get stuck posting that type of content because the people who are now following you are expecting that of you, especially if you went viral doing a certain thing. You are that person, you become that identity. And for me, on a platform like this, I've accepted that. If you're looking for me to tell you in this video what type of content you should be making, this isn't that video. But if you want me to give you ideas, I'm happy to make a completely separate video going through every type of content a musician should be making in 2022, or 2023, or in the future. I don't know, the meta might change. So with all that effort in mind, was this worth it? Yeah, but not for the reasons you might think. My biggest takeaway in this whole entire process was getting better at recording drums and getting more comfortable with creating content in front of a camera again. Before, I used to do a lot of vlog content with high production and high polish appeal. And I broke away from that. I used my camera, I used my phone sometimes when I didn't have the opportunity to use my camera. And I created a process that allowed me to create bulk amount of content and allowed me to find ways to adapt my lifestyle to making sure I made a video and posted once a day. The biggest thing that got in the way of me nailing down content, especially for drums, was tearing down and setting up, miking the kit, and engineering it for every moment that I needed it. I travel a lot from work and I'm away from my kit consistently. So nailing this down every day was difficult. So my strategy was every Sunday, I would film at bare minimum 7 TikToks. And throughout the week, I would write down ideas, message ideas to myself, and create a system where when it was time for me to film or when it was time for me to get ready, I would have a workflow that was instantly inspiring and I could just get to creating. I learned that I could reuse content in several different ways. And here's an example. For instance, I could do a drum cover, and then I could mute the original song audio and then offer people to either guess what song it was and post that first and then reveal the actual cover as an answer. Or I could mute the song entirely and offer people to either cover the song with me, or I could have people duet me. if the drum part wasn't so iconic that it was open for interpretation. It allowed me to become a more invested part of the community when I made the content not just about myself. And I guess the biggest win for me is I became way less anxious about posting content. As I said in the beginning of this video, everything was a formula for me before that needed to be polished, pristine, high production value, and look really, really clean. Lots of things needed to feel high effort for me before this challenge, and a lot of things needed to have a lot of angles and production value. To my disadvantage, which is now I guess my advantage, TikTok's not about that. And this helped me become a lot less anxious. It helped me get rid of a lot of the fluff, and it helped me to care a lot less about the content in a superficial way. I think as musicians and creatives coming from YouTube and Instagram and having that picture perfect lifestyle, for me, I developed a really bad relationship with content. Everything needed to be perfect, it needed to look good, it needed to be just the best representation of myself. And at many times, I'm not that picture perfect thing that I want to post all the time. I learned that TikTok is a way more organic place, and it's way more forgiving, and it allowed me to get over this hurdle and allowed me to finish more work as a whole. I think content nowadays is about the relationship you develop with the audience and how much help and or collaboration you can inspire. So if you've made it this far, I have a few tips for you. Message yourself in TikTok the specific TikToks or ideas that inspire you. TikTok has a very solid way of allowing you to scroll within your message history, so you can legitimately give yourself the ideas that inspire you and go through it on a scroll. That way, when you're ready to create, you can just go and sit down and scroll and be reminded of everything that inspired you to create when you were away from your time of creation, or your place, or your studio, or your instrument, or if you were in a place you couldn't sing. Legitimately, it's a way to just get it all back in one place. And I know that TikTok has its like feature and you can scroll through TikToks that you've liked, but sometimes I like content that I just like, and I'm not trying to inspire myself to create, I just like that content. But this way, I can give myself that content on a list that I can watch again. And here's another thing that helped me get over my perfectionism. I feel like in social media nowadays, a lot we're looking for that instant gratification. If it didn't go viral within an hour, then it wasn't good enough. If it didn't pop off today, then it wasn't it. Or if you don't get a certain amount of likes, or if you don't get a certain amount of engagement within this time period, then you're not. All of that to me now is bullshit. Throughout most of this challenge, the only time I could get to actually finishing these TikToks and finishing these videos was in the hour or two with my laptop at the side of my bed before I went to sleep. I would edit the TikTok really quickly after I batch recorded a ton of them. I would set it up, come up with the caption, come up with the title right before I went to bed, hit send, post it on the app, and go to bed. I wouldn't look at it. I would actually turn my phone off sometimes. That allowed me to let go of this whole entire process. And even better yet, 8 hours to 9 hours would pass before I would open up my phone to see if I even popped off. And to be honest, this was a good way for me to gauge if the video was solid. It was much better than me opening my phone up every time and rechecking TikTok to validate myself if I was winning. And usually, if I had to post in the morning, I would put my phone down, go for a morning walk or do a workout, and come back at least 30 minutes to an hour after I had posted to see if my content was actually pushed. My next tip is backlog your TikToks within the app. I know before we had Hootsuite, we had a bunch of different apps that allowed you to schedule and post your content out on a rhythm. And I feel like when I used those apps, I was deeply punished. But now, at least you can use the draft sections in TikTok to queue up 4 or 5 different posts that are ready to go on the platform. That way, when you're ready to post or you want to post that content for the day, you could just turn it on, hit post, and walk away and not care. The other big thing for me was to not trend chase. Chasing trends is super stressful. And for me, I always felt like I was late when I tried to jump on a trend because I always just saw people take the ideas I had, or maybe my ideas weren't that original. I mean, you're trend chasing anyway, so if you're going to try to chase a trend, I wouldn't put a lot of stock into that thing being the thing that helps you blow up. I'm not saying don't do trends. I'm not saying don't participate in the trend if you have the time. I'm just saying, don't stress out over it. If you make the content when you can make the content, it's all great. Two things that I've noticed is that if you post a trend and you're late to it on TikTok, you might be just on time on Instagram Reels. Instagram seems to be 2 weeks behind TikTok every time. So this is a cool way to kind of make up for lost time. So if you're going to trend chase it on TikTok, land it on Instagram. And I have a lot more ideas and a lot more things that I've learned with this 30-day challenge because I also posted to Instagram Reels as well. And I think I should make another video on that. So let me know if you want me to make a video on that. Thumbs up it, do all the things, do all the YouTuber things. I'll say that pitch again later. And lastly, post just to have fun. Since content doesn't matter, since everything's a lottery and we don't even know what's gonna pop off on the app next, might as well take some risks. If you're gonna post today and you're gonna post the next day, if you're gonna post the day after that, a thing that you post today could be fun, could be entertaining. But one thing that I've noticed a lot is that engaging with the community and posting and taking inspiration from comments and just responding to people with my face and not just typing back was a great way for me to engage with the community that I was building who was watching my content. My biggest takeaway was me being consistent on drums and me consistently recording myself. I know I said at the top of this video the metrics that I grew up to 5,000 followers and had almost 90K likes on all of my content as a whole. But the biggest thing that I learned was I got good at recording myself doing drums. I got better at mixing, I found a workflow, I developed a template, and then I found a way to learn how to record in this small environment that is the backside of my garage. So there you have it. That's exactly what happens when you post for 30 days straight on TikTok. I know this content isn't what I traditionally do, but I hope y'all found it useful. I felt like this video would be super helpful to my friends, fellow musicians, and content creators, as well as anyone who just watches my videos. And if you like me doing this type of content, please feel free to spam the thumbs up button, sub to the channel if you haven't already, be on the lookout for my next video about Instagram Reels and what I learned from this challenge, hybridized with this challenge. And please share this video with a friend. It would help out a lot, and I'm really stoked to do videos like this for y'all. Also, let me know in the comment section what your TikTok is and what type of content you want to make. And I definitely will be commenting back and checking out each one of y'all's TikToks if you post in the comment section. So go ahead and do that. Again, my name's Mel. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for watching this video, and I'll catch you on the next one.